You're listening to a Time Machine podcast. Old Movie Time Machine. An adventure through time and or space. Hello everybody and welcome back to Old Movie Time Machine. This is the show in which we use color motion picture films made in the old US of A between the years of 1945 and 1965. I'm trying to see how fast I can do it this time, you guys. As windows into the past. What do we do with these windows? We throw them open, we climb through, we pass through the windows into the world beyond the windows. Specifically, that little portion of mid-century, 20th century. And what are we doing while we're through the window, you guys, exploring this world beyond? We're asking ourselves some questions, such as all of the people that we see existing, interacting, living, or dying in this world beyond the window. Who are they? Who are these people? What are their habits? How are they treating each other? What decisions are they making, and why are they making them? And then, inarguably, the most important question of all, what are they wearing, and what do their living rooms look like? And then at the end of the show, we pass back through the window to modern times, where we ask ourselves and answer the final question on behalf of all of you here in the early 21st century, which is, hey, you guys, this world beyond the window that we just watched, are we going to keep watching it? How do we feel about this? We like it? It's a keeper? I don't think so. Or maybe I do think so. It depends on the movie, you guys. That's why you got to tune in every week, every Wednesday for precisely one more week after this. That we're on vacation. I'm your host, by the way, through time and or space, Justin Zeppa, joined as ever by my incredible, infallible panel of international experts at being human in the early 21st century. Starting on my right, we're over at her house again. That's right. Catherine's Cat Corner is fully operational and is loaded with Catherine, and also, who is also loaded, and then also a cat as well. Solon in particular. But Catherine, welcome back to the show.
Good evening.
Thank you for hosting us, and thank you to your furry little friend, Solon, who is also
least interested.
Yes, he's
crashed out
away from the table at the
sofa.
moment. It's been a very exhausting day for him. But to his little right paw, the one and only Shrishma Naik. Shrishy Boo, hey!
Hello.
Welcome back to the program.
Thanks.
Are you excited to be here?
I am very excited to be here.
I can tell. I can tell. Are you excited that on your right-hand side and also across the old Atlantic Ocean is one more super host? We call her my sister. She calls herself Carolyn Naoroz. Hey, sis.
Hey there.
Kind of changed up your intro there. I think I threw you for a loop. I feel like you were waiting for the my sister and yours bit, and I didn't give it to you. Mm-hmm. But it's episode 49, you guys. This is a wild one.
Yeah.
You've been doing quite a few of these, right?
It's mid-century.
It is indeed. Particularly this week in which we are watching 1954's Magnificent Obsession. You guys, I have to talk to you right now about something. Now, I told you all that we were ending the season with a bang, right? We were going to give you the good shit. Now, lesson learned. When you make those types of statements, please watch the movie that you are claiming is the good shit, quote unquote, before you say those things. I mean, this is the rule because I don't know what this is, but it is not the good shit. So,
to be fair,
yeah,
I think it's better than quite a lot of other shit.
Is that right, Catherine? We're
okay. Bearing in mind, this is a low bar.
Well, that's true. I mean, we did watch Dragnet this year, so
that's true. Okay.
Oh my god!
So
we watched the beach movies.
We watched the beach movies.
This is it.
It's not a beach movie. So this movie stars Rock Hudson, who we've seen in a bunch of shit, and Jane Wyman, who we've seen in a couple of things, and then a lot of other. That's right. Agnes Moorehead, Television's Endora, is here as Nancy, the local nurse friend, a friend and a nurse. Both, in fact, it turns out. A complicated, dimensional woman, Nancy. Sorry, Shrishma.
No, it's okay. I'm going to struggle today, I think.
It's okay.
I'll do my best.
Is it because you want to study?
I probably also have this stupid exam.
Are you stressed out about the studying?
No, I'm okay.
Okay. I'll move quickly. Get you out of here.
We don't need to like languidly go through this film.
No, there is no need for that at all. And my notes are relatively short, and we will be cruising because I don't want to talk about it because I don't like this movie.
I believe you.
Spoiler
We're
for the
gonna be
end.
cruising like this opening
Like the
speedboat.
Hurricane 4 jet boat, which is what we open up on because Rock Hudson plays Bob Merrick, local multimillionaire playboy, and also jet boat racer, a daredevil, you guys. He's living on the edge. He's got nothing but all this idle time and this mortality to play with. Like, why wouldn't I go out and do 150 miles an hour on the lake or say 180 even? Why not?
Yeah, I mean, at this point, I
surprised
thought
that Elvis didn't pass him on the lake.
But wait, he's a race car driver. I'm sorry.
At Las Vegas.
No, I know.
but
Around the
still,
lake.
he could.
We never determined if that was a house
How
or a
did Elvis
boat.
not end up in this?
Well, that's true. Catherine, I'm sorry. What were you saying?
Yeah, at this point in the film, I thought, the Magnificent Obsession. Now I understand. It's going to be all about the pursuit of speed on water.
Oh, that's a better movie,
What
Catherine.
I thought this would be.
Right, that sounds
at this
better.
point. Yeah.
Because what we're looking at here is a classic mid-century piece of concept engineering here. I mean, this boat looks like it was made in somebody's garage by a couple of boys who had leftover particle board from their boxcar racer, and they decided to stick it on Dad's fishing boat. We've got this big tail fin. We have a big plume of water shooting out. I mean, they're really going fast, but oh God, I really like the look of this cabin back here. Look at this. Okay, so Bob Merrick, boatman. Speaking of boatmen, let's look at his boat engineers, his boat mechanics. These two guys hanging out in their dock working jumpsuits. Love it. They've got their nautical caps on. The gentleman on the left here, he's just narrating what he's seeing through his binoculars there. He does not remove the cigarette from his mouth the entire time that he's speaking. And that is pretty good, I think. We've seen a lot of smoking, but we've never seen the just let it dangle smoke like that. I mean, not since Danny Aykroyd in Ghostbusters, right?
Right. Yeah, I was going to say. The classic.
And I'm sure even Danny Aykroyd would say, you know where I nicked that from? The opening to Magnificent Obsession, 1954. Love that movie. I love that movie. Dan Aykroyd. Anyway, he's commenting
Dan
on...
Aykroyd dangled better than this guy. I'm just going to say it.
Ooh. Hello.
So he's letting us know that this
dangles.
boat is going very fast. He's the one saying, like, must be going 150. And then he goes even faster. Must be going 180 now. And then when Merrick does finally flip the boat and get into a huge accident, not only is his mechanics leap up to save him, as they should do, right? As a human being would do. But this guy, Mr. Cigarette Mouth, he feels compelled before he actually makes it there to shout, to make sure everybody knows, I knew that would happen. He wants to be right. And I, for one, will let him because I'm not invested in this at all. But he wanted his buddy to know, like, fuck it, I saw this coming. So there it is. So he races a boat at 180 miles an hour. And then we see a brief glimpse of the infamous star, the secret star of this movie. It's a resuscitator, which is, a lot of talk about.
Of the movie.
Yes. I mean, it is this movie. If you didn't know any better, you would think, why isn't this called Magnificent Resuscitator? Because everybody's fucking obsessed with this thing. And I can see why. Look at these green tanks of some kind of gas or something like that. I'll take a sniff of that. Thanks very much. Nice handle there for the carrying case. Like, this is all very good. So we watch these cops. They're like, they're explaining the story to us. Why don't you call up Dr. Phillips and get his resuscitator to save this terrible man's life, which is what they do. And we see it happen. And at this point, I'm thinking, okay, I don't know where this movie is going, but I do know that this is some of the best resuscitating I've ever seen, committed to film. Great stuff. How can we go wrong? Guys, we go so wrong.
Yeah.
Catherine, what happens?
Well, the resuscitator isn't, like, for public use. It's actually a personal resuscitator.
Yeah, I mean,
because
Don't you
the
have one?
person who owns it
yeah.
has a condition.
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately, they have an attack whilst the resuscitator is out of the house.
It's the worst timing ever.
Terrible.
He has got to be in heaven, no doubt, kicking himself. Like, I why didn't I get one for the town or for the police? Like, I mean, people are dropping like flies out here, racing their boats, building their hospitals, following the path of various vaguely spiritual people, and it's tough on the heart. So why don't I get an extra one? I've got the money. I've got this big house, and I built this hospital. Why wouldn't I do
He
that?
doesn't have the money, does he?
Oh, Catherine. I mean, like, look at this house, though.
I know, it's a
look
bit
at the
nice.
Phillips house. And we do meet Helen and Joyce, who it took me a minute to figure out what their relationship was. Helen is the star. She is played by Jane Wyman, and she is driving with Joyce, the daughter of her recent husband. Wait, they have been married for 6 months.
6 months.
Yes, okay. And daughter Joyce, also kind of she's real cute. Daughter Joyce. I thought she was cute.
I don't get why we're still making Jane Wyman a leading lady. Like, I didn't get it the first time, and I still don't get it this time. I'm like,
What's you don't like middle-aged white women?
Helmet hair.
yeah, I mean, the hair is bad, but I mean, and no disrespect to her actual acting, but I'm kind of like, why is everyone in love with you?
I think she just represents women of her genre, right? Like she
A woman of integrity.
a woman of integrity, a woman who's fairly put together, who is pleasant, who doesn't have a lot of personal baggage. She's a great
really
cipher
into
for the
being a
audience to enter
widow.
a motion picture through. Anyway, as mentioned, it's a confluence of terrible events happening on this terrible day. I hope everybody stays inside on this day next year because, I mean, people are dying. Left and right, people are dropping, right? So we meet this other doctor who is a friend of original Dr. Phillips, who is the now recent husband of Helen and daddy to Joyce. I took this particular awful screenshot. It's not terribly well framed or anything like that, but what I did want to point out is we have the doctor smoking, of course, while he's delivering the bad news.
Death notice
Yes,
smoking.
exactly. And then we have Joyce's little white doily gloves that she's weeping into. And she rocks these gloves through a lot of the picture. And ladies of the table here, I would just ask you, why? Why did women wear little gloves?
No idea.
Any idea?
So they wouldn't soil their hands.
With all of
maybe the
Public?
whiteness of the gloves, if they actually did something, they would get dirty. So it showed the fact that they did nothing.
I don't need to do anything. Yeah, I don't lift a finger. I just wrap that finger in white cotton.
And these knit or string or lace gloves, however you want to term them, they're more of a summer weight.
And it's certainly
like
summer.
A white glove.
I mean, we get that loud and clear. And
He was on a speedboat.
he's on a speedboat. They're out at the lake. It's lake season, right? I mean,
But why is her mother not wearing them? I guess is it some sort
She's
of
grieving.
indication
No.
of no of virginity?
It could be.
Joyce is well. I mean, at this point, she is not married to Tony. Is that his name?
The lawyer?
Yeah. It's either Tom or Tony. I think it's Tony.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think there's probably something to do with a certain amount of propriety.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a dirty girl. Like,
So you do have some little white gloves that you put on sometimes
fuck no.
for your tea parties.
There's a lot of gloves in my life, and they're mostly covered with horsehair
Poop, right?
and dirt.
Yeah. So you would not want to weep into those gloves like
No.
Joyce is doing here.
I have some white string gloves that are then like tan leather on the inside, and it is for.
I think I had some of those as like driving gloves at some point in my life.
Yeah, they're like cubbing. As you wear them for riding. It's a summer weight. It's a warm weather weight.
And she is weeping heavily. Like these are going to be. She needs to wash these gloves, probably on a delicate cycle, right? Maybe put them in a little tumble bag or something like that before you pop them in there, because these are covered with her boogers. A hand wash, you think? Okay.
Hand wash.
Okay.
And back in this day,
Well, sure. Actually, back in this day, they
Those
probably
are
had
probably made of
housekeepers.
cotton, and they would have shrunk, so they probably had like a hand mold to put them on as they dried.
That's true. Guys, I can see Shrishma's life leaving her body as we continue into
let's
hour
move
5
on.
of the glove conversation. But look, the key issue is that this doctor here is not good at his work, and he has let the other doctor die, and he's reporting it. They're reporting the news to the now grieving widow, who then wanders out to this incredible backyard. That's all I wanted to point out is this this backyard is...
Didn't our grandparents or great-grandparents have that umbrella?
I believe they did, actually. Yes, this would be on the big deck, most likely. And I think this is I think this is also in All That Heaven Allows, this yellow umbrella.
I think so. By the Golden Rain
They
Tree.
call it the Golden Rain Tree. We're looking at a picture of, here's Dr. Randolph. I believe he's a doctor, right? He's an old doctor.
He's a doctor.
Yeah, he's a doctor.
No?
He's an artist.
Well, I thought he was like a retired doctor, though. No?
could have been. Yeah, could. I think maybe he might have been. He definitely had a different career because he got talked into being an artist and following his heart's desire by the previous, the dead Saint Lake.
Dr. Phillips.
Can we please note how high-waisted and pleated his pants are?
They are covering his navel for sure. Probably that's rib cage right there.
I was going to say at the lowest rib, the floating ribs.
There's your Christ looming over, menacing from the wall over there. He's a painter, this guy. Now, he was a friend of Dr. Phillips, as we've mentioned, and he has returned from his travels elsewhere. He's back in town, really sorry to hear about the loss of his friend. And he's about to get a knock on the door from a very drunk Rock Hudson, Bob Merrick, who has left his floozy and has
smashed his car
up. It was a bit of drink driving. And so he welcomes himself into Randolph's home here. And Randolph is he's a retiring gentleman, content to live out in nature surrounded by his pigments and such. I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. But this is the portrait of him. And he's like, yes, please come in. Why not, drunk stranger? Why wouldn't you come in and make yourself at home? And they have some chats. And we find out that, yes, he was a friend of Wayne. And he's back in town and he's painting again. I do have Dr. Randolph is the name here. So he was apparently a doctor. Anyway, they talk and he's drunk. So he passes out. He wakes up. And they have, first of all, look at this workspace here. My goodness. Again, I'm just crazy about these blinds.
amazing.
I mean, you want these, right?
No, yeah, definitely.
These tall wall windows, very lobster.
Amazing light. And then look what he's looking out onto, like beautiful trees.
Yes.
And the lake, I'm presuming.
This looks like the Lobster Bake or Fest house that was above at the tree farm and All That Heaven Allows. Anybody? I wonder.
That was above the barn.
Yes, exactly. I wonder if it's a similar, if not the same set. Doesn't matter though. We have to move on and we have to learn from Dr. Randolph all about this philosophy of giving to others and not asking for anything in return and seeing how this pays off later. It's kind of the early proto version of The Secret, right? It's sort of envisioning a better world in a sense and paying for it, and then good things happen to you. Pay it forward, maybe? Mm-hmm. Something like this. Anyway, yes, this is where we get the very heavy-handed, the original dude who tried this methodology ended up on the cross at the age of 33. Bum, bum, bum. He's talking about Jesus, you guys. Right. Did you not know? Okay. Not Kaili. Different deity. Now that he is also, they have this big old brunch. You know, I love it, right? A couple things happening on this table. First of all, they're eating eggs and bacon.
There was a lot of bacon.
This stack of toast. And I'll tell you, heavy duty glassware, this blue glassware, really into this, sort of grandma style, but sturdy, right? Like you could injure somebody with it. Look, they look heavy. That's what I'm saying. Anyway, they eat all this food and I'm happy for them. Well done film. So now that Merrick is all high on this concept of like, yeah, this will change my life. Good things happen to me because I feel so terrible right now about Helen. And I think I'm kind of horny for her too. So I got that kind of eating me up inside as well. And I got to figure this out. So what does he do? He calls up Helen's new daughter-in-law's soon-to-be husband, Tony. Is it a Tony?
I think so.
Yeah, he's a Tony for the purposes of our program. And he invites him over and he's like, look, here's what I want to do. Oh, what does he do? This is crazy. We blew past this. He has a big old brunch. Then he goes directly to lunch by the lake where he talks to a telescope operator whose wife and child have had to have some medical procedures that are very pricey. I believe that's the story. Anyway, Merrick's like, oh, you need money. Well, I has the money, and I'm going to give you. So he gives him a stack of $300 or something like that. And he's like, "Don't tell anybody. Just take it. Don't even tell your wife. Just take it. Pay the bills, and this is going to work out great for me." And this is how he frames it: is like, I'm doing this not actually for you, but for me. I'm going to get something out of this. So he has taken the message of the good,
but it worked, so didn't it? Because the thing that he wanted, fell in his lap.
That object of his desire.
She was at the same restaurant,
right? Almost like,
and he was like, "I see it works.
Yeah.
I did a thing. I threw some money at someone, and then I get what I want."
Yeah. He was really excited about it.
Shallow.
And he runs over her. He's like, "See." Kismet, right? Like, this is it. Where are we having dinner tonight? I gave that guy, I can't talk about it, but I did something, which when he says that, it's like, you need to contextualize that statement of, I just did something. Like, nobody wants to hear that. Like, there's rarely that's a good rest of that thought, Anyway, she is not into it at all. And she tells him as much. And she basically says, look, whatever you think you understand about the message of my dear departed, I think you are making it very cheap. Zing. Burn.
I would also be like, if my husband just died, even if it was like 6 months later or whatever he's doing, which it's not, it's like, days after, I would be like, don't come at me with your offers of dinner.
Too soon.
Yeah.
Just leave her alone for
Very
a while.
much too soon.
Too soon. Just be there for her, right?
It's indecorous.
Now, he cannot take no for an answer because he's a spoiled playboy. So he chases her into a cab and he's like, but no, you have to. They call it the Golden Rain Tree and I get what I want. I want an Oopa Loopa now. And she's like, fuck you. And she gets out the other side of the cab because he's followed her in there. And as she does, she gets hit by a car.
Oh, shit. I don't think I missed this part.
Oh, my. So this is the point,
Maybe I fell
Shrishma,
asleep.
where our star Helen becomes blind. She's blind.
Because
I'm watching.
in,
Totally the wrong film.
and in A Fair to Remember, she loses the use of her lower
paraplegic,
limbs.
yeah.
Yes. Yes, because then he comes
But
and...
here, she just loses her sight.
Oh, okay.
She
It's
gets
all
to wear
coming back to me
sunglasses
now.
for the
And
rest
then
of the
he becomes
movie.
Then he lies. He becomes a chronic liar for like a year
Out of
almost, it
love.
feels like. So she gets hit by a car and this makes her blind? Question mark? Whatever. I'm not a doctor, okay? So what the fuck? I should have started the show with that. Hey, listener, I'm not a doctor. So any medical advice I give to you, do not take it, all right? Go see somebody who's got their own beautiful signage and a private door that they can close.
It's all coming back to me.
Not that you wanted to, but
So-
okay.
Anyway, this accident, lesions on the eyes, more sad time at the hospital, more hospital smoking, so on and so forth. She's blind. Hey everybody, Midroll Jay-Z breaking in here, as I will do from time to time, to let you guys know this week all about our YouTube page. Did you guys know we have a YouTube page? Few do, but now you know. So I need you to just jump on over there and subscribe, hit the bell or whatever they say on YouTube. We're kind of new to YouTube, but we're happy to be there. And we would like for you to be there too. You're going to get all of the episodes, and then I think this summer we're gonna start doing some clips so you can get little highlights, little best ofs from the program. So check us out over on YouTube, and also there's Patreon and our TeePublic store. Buy some merch, help us support each other. I don't know, but whatever you do, go there, like and subscribe. 10-star reviews, whatever. We would appreciate it. And if you do those things, I promise you, I'm going to thank you. Like I will right now. Thank you. And now back to the show. Can we talk about this couch real quick?
It's a nice couch.
What do you see, Shrishma? Describe the couch for the people.
It's like a U shape, but with like a circle on the end. Or L shape, sorry, but with a circle on the end.
This could safely... I was wondering, what would the purpose of the rounded bit be? Because there's no back, right? But I'm thinking
it would be
people
like a
sitting around, right?
Like a stool situation.
How many people do you think could fit on this couch? I'm thinking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
I think 8.
9, 10. You could probably maybe get 10 on there. Also... what do we do on this program? We count ashtrays. How many ashtrays are in this space? Let's start over here.
Oh.
Number 1. Looks like some kind of pewter jobber over on the side table there. This table is just awash,
like
just
5.
cluttered. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's not one.
Oh.
I think it could be a cigarette box.
This is one, though.
Holder.
Yeah, it's a holder for sure. 5, 6.
6.
And is there
7, I think.
Is there one back here?
It looks like.
That looks like a glass, maybe. I don't know. 6 or 7 ashtrays. No less. I mean, it's incredible in that space. But this is a party couch, so I'm not surprised. Where are the people smoking who are over on the round bit, though? Like, where do they ash? Just a question.
They ash over at the bar area in the pewter
Too far.
one.
What if you're facing this way? What if... Sorry.
Well, then you got to ash on the table.
I guess so. He'll buy new carpets.
Right.
I mean, they're expensive at this point. We haven't figured out the nylon thing yet, but he's good for it. Anyway,
Look at this boy.
so we meet Helen, who is on the beach, and she is hanging out with her friend Judy, who is a girl, for lack of a better term. I don't know whose girl she is. No, she's like literally a girl.
Child. Okay.
Yeah.
A neighbor kid.
Mhm. And they are hanging out, and she's a real funny kid. She's got a lot to say, got a lot of big ideas and everything. And she's keeping now blind Helen company. And it's very sweet that they have a little friendship happening. And she's reading comics to her and everything, and describing what's going on. And it's very nice to see.
Rock Hudson / Merrick has just been like a fucking creeper listening to their like beachside
he's
story
lurking.
time for the
Yeah.
last several weeks.
Yes. He feels so bad, but he also is horny for her. Anyway, young Judy calls him over to help her launch her rowboat, which again, yes, very shades of all Leave Her to Heaven.
All that heaven allows. No.
Leave Her to Heaven.
Leave Her to Heaven.
Of course, Helen hears about this, so she's like, "Oh, hello, strange man who has the golden rain tree voice I know so well." And
She says
killed my
something about him
husband."
being handsome.
I think because Judy says something about like, "Hey, handsome, help me launch this boat." or-
yes.
Yeah. Okay. So anyway, they start talking. He does not tell her who he is. She's like, "What's your name, kind stranger from nowhere? I know nothing about." And he's like, "Well, my name is Bob," and he's an idiot. So he almost says his real name, but then he goes with Rob Robinson, which. Oh, you don't buy that, Shrishma?
I mean, he is Robert.
Talking on the microphone.
What?
Oh, he is Robert, isn't he?
He is a Robert. Yeah.
Why
but
didn't he go with Dick?
That's true.
Robert Dick? Bob Dick?
No, it's not
Dick Robinson.
No.
Okay. Old Shrishmason, right? Like that's the equivalent.
Yeah, that's true. That'd be very creative
very
too,
silly.
to like a fake name myself.
So he's got this fake identity, right? And he's just like doing a long con on her, just making time, making her fall in love with him, being generous and nice and sweet. And they're all reading comics together. And it's a beautiful thing other than the lies, right? The incessant lying that goes on. But he wants to help. And Randolph is all about this too. He's like, well, I know you really want to help her, but it's pretty tough. It will be an obsession if you do. But if you do obsess, the obsession, it will be magnificent. And he's saying this because Merrick has it in his mind now. Oh, it turns out, by the way, wonder of wonders, he was a former med student. He was going to be a doctor specializing in blind widows. But he left the program to go race his vroom vrooms. And now he wants to go back because he thinks he's got the stuff to give her sight back. And this is where Randolph is like, well, you're going to have to go back to med school, dude. I mean, you got to go do the work and all this and residency and all this stuff. And he does. To his credit, he does. And that's the process that we see. He goes down to the big city and begs for a slot at med school from his old professor who's like, where the fuck have you been? Hey, dude, you were talented. You could have saved a lot of lives. And then you just fucked off. And now you're back because you want to get some. So you want to learn how to save eyes. Okay. And he just say, okay. Like,
and
well,
he
okay.
gets it back because, white people.
Well, that's right. Yeah, I mean, endless possibilities.
He pulls white people strings.
Yeah.
In Europe.
You're a tall white man. I see no
Sure,
problem
you can
here.
come
Like
back.
the doors never close fully on people like you. Come
With
back
money,
in.
I must
Exactly.
say.
With money,
Millionaires.
yeah, of course,
That
of
is
course.
Key.
So he does go into that program. Meantime, Helen gets some great news from Europe. There are, I don't know if you guys have heard, but I mean, in the U.S., this is definitely a thing. European clinics of any kind are the best clinic. It's like, oh, you're going to the Europe clinic? Oh, excuse me. Well, now we're taking whatever your issue is seriously. It's because of the accents, I think. You guys all have a bunch of funny accents. And Americans certainly do not. So.
Speak for yourself.
So she's excited because they're going to take a look at her. She has jumped the waiting list again. Formerly wealthy white woman. She gets in there, and I don't know how this happens, you guys, but she is pretty convinced that this is going to happen. That Europe, again, European clinics, these fucking Europeans are going to come save my eyeballs. No problem. So we get to sit through the tests, the eyeball tests, the literal eyeball tests, right? Where they're shining things and like, do you see anything? And she's like, no. But
a bit more than yesterday. Not as much as yesterday.
Yeah, right. I don't see anything, but I'm pretty sure you can help me. It's like, well, I don't know about that.
If I smile enough and like I bet he bought a new dress.
Yeah. Well, and it's so sad, Catherine, because and she can't see them, of course, but all of these European doctors are very taciturn throughout their examination. You can tell, we can tell, us with eyeballs, working eyeballs, we can tell, boy, this is not going well. Like the data is not coming back in a way that says, oh, yeah, you'll be seeing things by Tuesday. And sure as shit, she does go out and shoot the works, as she puts it, buys herself a new dress and gets herself all fancied up for the big.
But how does she know what the dress looks like?
Yeah.
Well, she is there with Joyce.
Joyce
has traveled with her. And so Joyce is her eyes, right? And Joyce has got great style. I mean, she's the cute one here. So she does look very nice. That was a bit preemptive, though, especially when they've given you zero indication that you will be getting your sight back. And then when they deliver that news in an official way from behind a desk and surrounded by other gray men in gray suits, she is very disappointed. And I'm thinking, well, I understand the heartbreak, but maybe we should have considered that this would be a possibility at some point. But what do I'm an asshole, right?
Blind optimism?
Jeez.
No,
Well
I'm not sure I
done.
can actually.
Well done.
It was very slow, but we did get the high five
I'm
done.
not sure I wanted to admit that one, but anyway.
At this point, Merrick goes to join her we're in Switzerland. I mean, that's peak Europe, everybody. That's about as European as it gets. I mean, that's a bunch of countries surrounding one other place. And, man. Anyway, Switzerland.
Multiple languages and cantons.
It's so exotic. So he goes to join her to make her feel better. And she is delighted to see him. Delighted to hear him. And they spend some time together. They go on dates. They go watch the effigy of a witch burn. It's a local thing. Does not
For
sound terribly
good
Swiss
harvests,
to me, by the way.
apparently.
In Switzerland.
Potentially.
I mean, are they harvesting things in Switzerland? It's been a minute since I've been there.
Yeah.
I don't know. This just seems more Bavaria to me. But what do I know? Anyway, we get to watch this witch burn. It's pretty cool. And he's nice to her, and Joyce sees this and gets it. Oh, yeah, Joyce's relationship to this whole situation. She's seeing everything, and she's like, what are you doing? Why are you lying about your name and your identity and who you are to this person who clearly knows who you are? Joyce lets it slide, though. She's got the wedding to worry about. She's got wedding brain right now. So she is not. And she's also taking care of Helen pretty full time at this point, it feels like. So, but she is curious about, like, why the lies? Why would you do this? Why would you fuck with this woman any more than you've already fucked with her? Anyway.
But then she comes around. By the time we get to this point, she's like, just tell her the truth.
Right.
It's fine. We don't care.
And he does. He kind of floats it out there, like, because Helen is feeling a lot of gratitude at this moment. She's somebody she really loves, and she's traveled, and she's living her life despite her recent handicap. And she's describing how, it's like, things are pretty good. I can't see shit, but things are pretty good. I feel great. And he's like, even about Bob Merrick? And she's like, Bob Merrick? Yes, I think even Bob Merrick. And yes, I know that you're Bob Merrick.
Because I'm not dumb.
Right.
Anyway.
And
She smelt him.
yeah. Smells like pipe, right?
Boy.
Like
The pheromones.
so they decide to be inseparable starting tomorrow.
Oh,
Hint, hint. So the next day, Joyce arrives with gloves, I have a note, and finds letters from Helen. It turns out that Helen has run away. I can't remember why. Why does she say that? Like,
I
she
think
thinks she's going to be a burden, right?
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
she doesn't want him to throw his life away and basically just be her carer.
she's too good for this guy. I mean, let's be real.
You know what? I would be like, fucking throw your life away. You killed my first husband, bitch.
And then you made me
now
blind.
Your ass is going to take care of me. You made me blind, you asshole.
Yeah, you owe me, bitch.
Well,
Sorry.
and it's not like they don't try to find it. Like, she takes off. When she's gone, she is gone. They get the, I guess, 50s version of Interpol involved because they're talking to police across all of the great nation of Europe and getting reports of, we've checked everywhere. We don't see your blind Helen. Sorry.
Nations of Europe.
I'm kidding. It's a bit. It's a joke. Beautiful downtown Europe. All right. So visit it. It's charming. So time passes, you guys. Shrishma, the movie's almost over.
I believe you.
Let's see what's happening. We get a little newspaper clipping to tell us about this. Last week, the New York Medical Center opened a new wing. Gift of an unnamed
Merrick,
donor.
former sportsman.
Intended for neurological patients. Among those watching the ceremonies was Dr. Robert Merrick, former sportsman, whose principal activity of a few years ago was breaking speed records.
And killing doctors.
Yes.
And making women blind.
I mean, why is that even relevant?
Why is this newsworthy? Is it any more newsworthy than the actual nuts and bolts of grafting bone to somebody's spine, which is also in this article?
No.
Bizarre. Anyway, he's graying at the temples, so we know he's matured into a full man.
Pipe-smoking,
well-rounded-
pious man.
That's right. Yes, and he follows the path. He doesn't want the money back, you guys. Just take the money. I hope he understands where that left Dr. Phillips. I hope he's just stashing some aside so this doesn't...
Penniless and dead.
Yeah. Oh, Joyce and Tony have a baby named Helen. They get married and have a baby. They name it Helen, by the way. And... sorry, I'm just really into his living room again. There's the party couch. There's probably more ashtrays. Knock yourself out trying to find them. Then we get word that we know where Helen is. She is in a clinic out in the desert. Again, hospital ashtrays. This particular clinic has 1 and then 2 for visitors, which is very nice. And she's got herself a room here, but everybody rushes to Helen, who's she's not doing so well. She has pneumonia, we find out. So, and we're hearing this from Dr. Randolph, who is there to say that Nancy called. We haven't talked about Nancy at all, played by Agnes Moorehead. She plays a nurse. And she's also Endora on Bewitched, as I've mentioned many times before. And we should just watch an episode of Bewitched. It's really what
She's the one with the wiggle nose. No, I mean, but like the character, the one who...
That's her daughter in the show, Samantha. And then she's the mom who pops in. Darren doesn't like her because she's always fucking with Darren. Guys, I could talk about the Darrens all day, and Samantha for that matter. But we must close this out. Anyway, she needs an operation, you guys. And there's only one person who's qualified and handsome enough to get it done. And his name is Bob Merrick. And he's like, dress me up.
Bob my brow.
That's
Didn't he
right.
walk into this like bare chested?
He had his shirt on. Thank you, Catherine. Yes. He is briefly shirtless. And then they pop him into his gown here. But if nobody else is shirtless
no.
or topless
No.
in the OR,
You didn't know? To be an eye surgeon, you have to take your shirt
gotta
off.
take your shirt off.
Brain surgery. Brain surgery.
You don't want to get eye goo all over
You
your
gotta be,
nice
like, clear,
your
fresh
scrubs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, he's feeling nervous all of a sudden. He's started questioning himself. I gotta, operate the pneumonia right out of this woman I love's body, chest. I don't know.
No.
Pneumonia.
It's brain surgery. There's
Is it brain surgery?
Yeah. There's pressure building up.
Okay, I'm very again. not
And
a
then it's
medical
all complex
doctor.
because of like the old injury.
Yeah, that's right. The old injury. Always.
Anyway, he goes in there. He saves her. He does the surgery.
Yeah, but
and all of a sudden
who's
she wakes up and
inspiring
that
him?
bitch can
Carolyn,
see.
you're going too fast. Who's inspiring him to do this the right way? Dr. Randolph, who watches from the observatory deck overhead, sort of
Yeah,
like
exactly.
God, yeah.
Yeah, my note here is there's a lot of sentimental music and like constipated faces.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's the Holy Spirit moving through everybody. That's what that looks like.
Yeah, I could do with some of that movement.
Anyway. Try, what's your fiber intake look like? Sorry, all right.
Okay.
So-
we're not. No.
Anyway, she eventually wakes up and can see light, and they end up together. Finally, end of movie. We
that her
have done it. This is what her
Eyes
hair looks like. This is X-ray of her hair
Skull.
Yes. Anyway,
It's her exoskeleton.
that's why
Exactly.
they needed his 6'3" leverage to get through the hair with the saw. You know what I mean? Like, it was a lot of work, a lot of cutting.
Yeah.
Guys, let's talk about this movie. Let's do the business.
All right.
Katherine Sherlock, 1954's Rock Hudson's, Jane Wyman's magnificent obsession. Do we keep watching this?
No.
Okay. Any particular reason?
All of it. But the I don't know, the whole kind of syrupy, sentimental melodrama, constipated goodness, pipe smoking faces. Anyway, all of that.
Spot on.
But I would, as I say, I think perhaps if this was remade, but apparently it has been remade, I'd be interested.
Okay, we'll do some research.
This one-
Maybe there's a better version of this.
This one was a remake of an older movie.
Yeah, from the 30s, which I've not seen.
And then it was remade in Bollywood 3 times. Not the exact storyline. I think it was a general.
It's a story
And I think it was a book.
worth remaking. Shrishma, though, do we keep watching this?
No.
You can just say no.
No, but the thing is, like, I feel like we are because people have used it, like, been inspired by this to create, like, their own versions of it. So, like, the concept of, someone killing your husband and then you fall in love with that person. I feel like that's a pretty...
Okay.
I think we'll see that whether we want to or not.
I think that's
It's good drama.
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
good,
Yeah.
Yes.
It's okay being drama, melodrama, nah.
Is this the best version of that story?
No.
Is the-
No.
Okay. Carolyn Naoroz.
Yeah.
Your sister and mine. Do we keep watching this thing?
So I'm pretty sure I kept All That Heaven Allows, but if I didn't, I'm going to go back and keep it now. And I'm going to say no to this film because I actually think that All That Heaven Allows was better.
Thank you so much for saying so. I completely agree. I said yes to All That Heaven Allows, and
I
everybody
feel
else.
like I did too.
You guys were kind of pills about it. You were not as excited about it as I was.
I feel like I said yes to that one. That's
You
the...
did. I got to do a tally. We'll do a tally of all the stuff.
Yeah, okay.
Are you keeping it?
No, I'm not keeping this. This is all of the elements are there, but they're not arranged in the right way. You know, it's like somebody got hammered and just put the movie together wrong.
Which is why I think I just felt like a remake of this there could be something there. But like this, no. But
this is a poor IKEA build. Actually, I bet you could take this movie as shot and kind of like move it around maybe and probably improve it somehow, right? Tighten it up a little bit, make it more effective. But yeah, it's a no from me. All That Heaven Allows is a better go-to for this kind of picture, especially the spiritual stuff. Like, and I'm all about that, like having a path and a code and all this shit. Very pro all of that. You know, you bring the fucking Trinity into it.
Yeah, exactly. Just be a nice person.
Just be a human, right.
You don't have to like
have accountability for your own actions, right? Like
exactly. Just own your own shit.
Right. Thank you. Agreed. Own your own shit.
Agree.
And that's Magnificent Obsession, you guys. Congratulations. We have done it.
Woohoo.
In the books. Yeah, sure. I mean, you're worth it. You guys really power through. Troopers. Now, let's talk about Ep 50. Closing out the season next week. Very excited. We've had a very big year. Great job to my co-host, by the way. You guys are amazing. I would like to end the season with, it's a selfish choice. I'm not going to lie to you, but I think it has an audience. There is a group of people who are highly influenced by this movie. It's a motion picture I like to call 1963's It's a Mad, 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 Mad World. 4 Mads.
Have we not watched this one?
We have not watched it.
Nice try.
Sounds fun.
A group of motorists witnesses a car crash in the California desert, and after the driver's dying words indicate the location of a hidden stash of loot, they turn against each other in a race across the state to get to it. Starring Milton Berle, Buddy Hackett, Jonathan Winters, and a bunch of other people. As you will see, this is the original epic comedy, you guys. This is a long movie. Give yourself some time, but enjoy it because it's very silly. And we will be talking about it next week. I've got a lot to say. Surprise, surprise. Make room for it. It's the season finale of Old Movie Time Machine. And until then, next Wednesday, we will see you there. Thanks, Catherine. Thanks, Solon. Thanks, Shrishma.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Sis. And thanks to me.
No problem.
And I'm going to send it to myself.
Thanks, Justin.
Oh, yeah. Thanks. Oh, you're welcome. And also, thanks to the guy in the future who's going to read us out. Take it away, Guy. Thanks so much, me from the past. Well done, team. Way back then, even right now, even from the future, things look pretty bright for this episode of Old Movie Time Machine. But you let us know what you think. Please write to us questions, comments, concerns. You shouldn't have any, but if you do, write to us, partyline@oldmovietimemachine.com. We would love to hear from you, as always. And as for next week, that's right, we're wrapping things up with a personal favorite, a selfish choice. It's a mad, 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 mad world. And fortunately, this is actually available for you guys to watch. I know we said, again, the good shit, Magnificent Obsession and all this, not the good shit, and also not available to watch anywhere. So sorry about that. But this one is quite available in various formats for you to stream, rent, or buy at the following locations. Listen up. Apple TV, Google Play, YouTube, Vudu, Microsoft, Redbox, Amazon, and then the Prime Video, which is also Amazon. They're going to get 2 this week. There you go, Amazon. That one's free. That one's for me. That's on the house. Anyway, get caught up. Watch It's a Mad, 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 Mad World. Do not watch the extended edition. It's not as good. Just go for the original cut. That's what you want to see. And also budget some time because it's almost 3 hours long. Totally worth it, I promise. But, or is it? I guess we'll find out next week, right? And until that time, please never forget that this has been Old Movie Time Machine.